Hi there guys, it's me Josh with Geeks For Hire. We're just getting to the closing of E3 2015 and it's looking really good this year. This is a video going to be on the winners. We'll have a separate video for the losers in my opinion, but this one specifically is for winners of E3. So with that being said, let's go on in. Bethesda was the first company who had their big press conference. It's their very first press conference and it was awesome. Seeing what they did was really, really good. I'm sorry, when you have a company that has Fallout 4, Doom, and to a lesser extent Dishonored 2, like those are the games they're showing, you're gonna already kind of like push everything else to the wayside right from the get-go. Fallout 4 looks like a game changer, like flat out. The Xbox One version is getting mod access. It also comes with a free copy of, I think it's Fallout 3, which I was like, cool. But it looks really great. They even came out with a good-looking mobile game that's a companion piece to the main game, maintaining their same humor and all that. It looks really, really good with how they're doing that. I was really impressed with Fallout 4. I've always liked Fallout, but this time around I'm like, damn! Like, New Vegas came out and I was like, oh, that seems cool. But 4 really looks good. Doom looks awesome. A lot of people are talking online about how it doesn't look as fast. But I'm okay with that because the original Doom, on turbo speed, was really hard, and this looks like modern original Doom. And I like that. I like that look, that style. It looks really, really, really cool. I don't care about Dishonored, I'll be perfectly honest, but it's a big deal. I mean, Dishonored looks really good. But Bethesda just did a great job. I really enjoyed everything about their press conference. Microsoft was the next big guy. Microsoft just flat out was like, oh yeah, Halo, and that's a game. Gears of War, that's a game. And I'm like, Gears of War 4 though does look really good. In defense, Gears of War 4 looks really, really good. I have no idea what they're going for storyline wise, but I was into it. I was like, yeah. And I've always liked Gears of War. It was never oh, that's the series I play. But it was a fun game, and I like Gears of War a lot. Halo is... Halo got a lot of, this looks like Destiny. I stopped and was like, Bungie made Halo. They made Destiny. Makes sense. But they're really pushing Halo 5. The story looks cool, but I'm not really invested in it. I think that Halo 5 is going to be just like Call of Duty. It's going to sell, but I don't think it's going to really push units per se. Gears of War 4 might though. That looks awesome. Forza, the car they dropped down looked awesome, and the rest of the game I was like, eh. Nothing against it, just it was eh. But Forza looks really good. They announced backwards compatibility with the Xbox 360, which, I'll be real, I could do a whole video on why backwards compatibility is nice, but it's really important at the beginning of the system's lifespan, not the end, the middle end part. I don't give a fuck anymore about backwards compatibility. People are on Twitter oh, I can't wait to play Fallout 3 on my Xbox One. And I'm like, I can't wait to not do that because that's the exact opposite of what I'm doing on my Xbox One. If I traded my Xbox 360 because I want to move to the next level, I don't want to do that. That's why I've switched to PC gaming. But it was a nice gesture overall. I think there's going to be a lot more hubbub about it as it comes out, but it looks pretty good so far. That's a good thing to do. Rare, it seems like Microsoft's finally investing, their investment in Rare is finally coming to fruition. I think I'm really excited. I'm a big Rare fan. I love Banjo-Kazooie. I'm really sad they didn't just say Banjo-Kazooie 3 and fuck Banjo nuts and bolts. But so they came out with the Rareware bundle, which looks awesome. And I heard Jet Force Gemini's in it, which that in and of itself is a sale right there. $30 for Jet Force Gemini? Fuck yeah. So if you don't want to emulate it. But that being said, taking emulation aside, it looks really cool to do that. $30 for 30 games. I don't know if it's really not that many, but Banjo-Kazooie and Tooie alone, and Banjo-Kazooie, Tooie, Perfect Dark, Jet Force Gemini, and Conker's Bad Fur Day alone might sell that package. But I don't. Once again, that's not going to push consoles, and that's the big thing I'm worried about Microsoft. They showed off the pirate game. I forget what it's called, but it looks really good. I was really into that too. It's got that goofy, rare look, and I was actually really hopeful it was going to be Dream. They're often the game that got canceled for Banjo-Kazooie, but it wasn't. And I'm hoping that they'd add more nods to that in there because it has that same feel to me. But I think it's really good that Microsoft is finally putting money into Rare where they finally did the investments for it. It's a big deal because Rare was one of those companies where people were like, why aren't they utilizing Rare? And I'm like, because Rare made some shit games outside of Viva Pinata right after like Microsoft bought them. Grabbed by the Ghoulies was not that good. Perfect Dark Zero was horrendous. Does anybody remember Cameo? Yeah, exactly. Like, Viva Pinata was like the shining point. They kind of had to like keep Rare in like their pocket and like give them Connect Four. Be like, yeah, make this so we can make money. But I'm glad they're finally like going back to it and they're saying, Rare, we want you to make innovative, cool games. I want to see the pirate game. I keep calling it Age of Booty, or as my one friend called it, Legend of Rare, Rare Walker Online. But it does look really good. It does look really good. Moving on into the EA press conference, I didn't really give two shits about like any of the games there. In fact, like when you go to my loser side, that's like a big sticking point. But, big but, Need for Speed looks really good. Really, really good. They made a comment in there saying, we want to make sure that you cannot tell the difference between the gameplay and the cinematics. And I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. And then they're like in it, and I'm like, they went from talking to gameplay. When did this happen? And it looks really good. I'm not a big Need for Speed guy, but I know a lot about it. A lot of my friends are big into it, so I've vicariously played through them or with them. This one looks like they basically said, hey, what was really good about the last, like, 8 Need for Speeds? I'm like, well, we really liked police chases. Customizability. I like streets. There you go. Fuck it. It's all in there. And it looks good. Like, it looks really cool. It's got a cheesy Fast and Furious storyline combined with like awesome customization and just a bunch of cool stuff there. I'm actually really impressed with what they're doing there. There wasn't much else I was really like that hyped for with EA. It kind of got overshadowed by everything else. The Sony press conference, I mean, I could go on for hours about that one. We'll just list off the big three. Last Guardian, Shenmue 3, and Final Fantasy VII Remaster. And Uncharted 4, I really feel bad because Uncharted 4 looks great. I'm not an Uncharted fan. I was into Uncharted 4. And the other three really overshadowed it. The Last Guardian looks great. It looks phenomenal. I do kind of reserve my judgment until I actually play it, but I'm into it. I think that it has a really good chance of being one of those big games. Shenmue 3 is on Kickstarter, and I thought that was hilarious because they were like, yeah, it's on Kickstarter. PS4. And I'm like, it's going to be on PC. But it looks cool. I think Shenmue 3 is a little too late. However, if I'm not mistaken, it either has already hit its goal or it's gone past. And unlike a lot of them, it basically said, yeah, we need $2 million to make this game. And it got it. So, Shenmue, that's cool. They showed off, I believe it was called Horizon. It was the dinosaur game. That looks really cool as a new IP. Probably the best new IP shown, period, between all of this. I was really blown away by that game. That game looks really fun. I'm a sucker for that. I'm not big. It's funny. I'm not really big into Monster Hunter, but I'm really big into boss fights, and that's what I was looking for. And I like the innovation behind it. It looks fun. It looks like it has a good, interesting plot that could tie into multiple games. And it looks like there's a fun female character. A lot of people are complaining about the banter she's got, but I'm I'm okay with that. I kind of like my characters talking like that. I like the new DMC where Dante talks shit all game long. But yeah, that looked great. Metal Gear Solid 5 looked great, but we already knew that one. I don't really need to go on. There's a couple of, I'm not going to touch on because we already know it's going to be good. You don't need E3 to tell you that. You don't need this thing on E3 to be like, oh, it's a winner. No. E3 is about, the, oh my gosh, this is new, and oh wow, we finally got to see this. No Man's Land, I think is what it's called, or No Man's Sky, whatever it is, the space exploration game. Looks really cool. They finally showed gameplay. I'm not sold, but I think it looks great, and I thought they did the right thing with that. Final Fantasy VII Remastered looks awesome. I'm not a huge Final Fantasy VII guy. I'm much more of 6 and the other ones there on the list, but it looks really good. It looks phenomenal. once again, it's just like the opening cinematic type stuff. But I really am excited to see what else is there. It looks to be one of those games where I'm gonna be like, damn, that's what I want to see, but I don't know if I want to play. So I'm a little hesitant, but I'm excited. Uncharted 4, like I said, was awesome. Call of Duty Black Ops 3 or whatever they're on now, having the exclusive stuff on PlayStation 4 is just like a big fuck you to Microsoft. But it's cool. I'm actually really down with that because, honestly, now Sony has like that, like, hey, you have Halo, that's cool. We have Call of Duty with all the shit on it. Go fuck yourself. You want space, we got Destiny. Go fuck yourself. Like, that's pretty cool. Ubisoft kind of, like, was that one company where they're like, we've got these cool franchises. I'm like, and that no one likes. And they're like, people like them. No, they don't. They don't really like them. We're buying them because there's a part of us that goes, well, it's a safe buy. Assassin's Creed is not a good series anymore, and they pushed that game hard, and no one gave a shit. The Crew, no one gave a shit. Anno looks cool, but I don't think anybody's gonna give a shit. What people are gonna give a shit about are the game you came out swinging with, which was South Park. God, I can't even say the title. The new South Park game. It's like the fissure, but like the. What is it? The Fission Butthole or something like that. That looks awesome. I love the first one. I was blown away by how good it was. I shouldn't have been, considering that the guys who make South Park are the ones making the game. But I was blown away by it, and it looked awesome. This one, once again, is just a bunch of the same stuff. You're playing a South Park episode. I'm hoping that it's going to be longer. But in retrospect, I kind of forgive it for being shorter because you could tell that there's a lot of stuff where they were like, well, we could do this. I really get the feeling that they planned an expansion pack and that it became a second game. That's really what this looks like. Especially because it starts off with like the stick of truth and sort of leans into them being Coon and Friends with Professor Chaos. And I'm really into this. Like, I love the superhero motif. But, like, Ubisoft was really weird. Like, they had games where I was like, oh, that looks cool. And they had games where I'm like, oh, I don't know when that's ever coming out, but that looks cool. But, like, South Park really blew me away. I was really, really impressed with that. Anno, I'm excited for, but no one gives a shit about it. I hate to say it, but it's not something that, like, you advertise at E3. You sort of, like, do, like, a press conference on its own. There was no Rayman. Big letdown for me there. But, moving on. Nintendo came, and it's really funny. Nintendo's the next day, and Bethesda was day one, like day zero technically, and it's like blew everyone out of the water. Sony like had the big guns, like, and Nintendo came out and was like, "You like 3DS?" I'm like, "Yeah, I love 3DS." I'm like, 3DS games. I'm like, "Cool!" Like, there was a lot of good 3DS games. I mean, I had like the whole list down. There's a new Mario and Luigi and Paper Mario, which was awesome. Like they were showing gameplay of that. It's Mario and Luigi with Paper Mario. Like, I want to see how that works story-wise, but like the game sounds awesome. Fire Emblem Fates, which is the Pokemon of Fire Emblem, where they're literally releasing 2 Fire Emblem games. And a lot of people are really upset about this because here in America we're really big on, well, why do I have to buy 2 games to enjoy it? And they're like, you don't. You only need to buy one. The other one's a whole other game. Nobody's going to get that. Nobody gives a shit anyway. And there's a third one apparently, which is like the alternate path, and that's like the emerald of this, the Ruby Sapphire Emerald. That's a big, like, I think it's a big risk on Nintendo, but I like it. I'm also prone to being like, yeah, I'll buy both of them, and just like, give me my money. Here's my money. They also showed off, oh goodness, the new Zelda game, which is like coming out in like 2 months, which looks fun as fuck. I'm surprised they're doing like the Secret of Mana 3-player style, but it makes sense because of the Triforce. That game, when they showed it, I was like, oh, 4 Swords Adventure, that's cool. They showed the gameplay, and there's a part where like the woman's like, the three of them are playing like, oh, it's so much fun, and they're talking and laughing and goofing up. They flat out like kill each other on accident and on purpose. Like, they're having fun. It looks like fun. And the woman who's trying to like move things along is like, come on, let's stop. And they're like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And it was really funny to see that because that's a really big deal. When people who are playing the game, who are supposed to be advertising the game, kind of forget they're supposed to be advertising, that means that the game is really good in some regard. They have to have like completely forgotten about something, which is what I like in games. They showed off the new. They kind of like under the radar this one, Fire Emblem. What's it called? Fire Emblem Shin Megami, which looks really cool. I don't think anybody knew that that's what it was, but that's cool. But like the 3DS, oh gosh, 3DS had a ton of games. The Metroid Prime games, I don't even like Metroid Prime, and those ones look pretty good. One of them looked like Metroid Prime Hunters Co-op, which is awesome. The other one's like a robot fighting sports game, which just reeks of download. This is a $5 download game or a free-to-play download game. It reeks of that. But, I mean, it looked fun, and if it's only $5, I'm not going to complain. The new Animal Crossing game is probably the most torn one. I love Animal Crossing. I love this game. It looks really fun. They showed us they showed off Star Fox Zero, which looks like Star Fox. Like, there you go. They basically, at least from what it sounds like Shigeru Miyamoto's like, no one can go on ground, only ships. And people were like, no, we want Fox. Like, no, you won't get those. And I'm like, thank you, Shigeru. But yeah, it looks really cool. I actually am pretty stoked for it, but I'm not like, oh my gosh, hype city. I am hype city for Mario Maker, which, all right, outside of Fallout 4 is obvious, like, that's going to be the big game. And a few from Square Enix where I'm like, those are going to be big games. Mario Maker is going to sell. That's fun. I'm sorry, they were doing some crazy shit. Like, taking aside the tournament they had where, like, they had the guy playing Mario Maker levels, and he's like, what the fuck? Like, taking that aside, watching them just play the game is fun. And the love that's put into this game is awesome. I'm probably going to be, that's the game I'm going to, like, throw all my money at and be like, splurge, 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 because it looks awesome. And it looks like Mario. That's the big thing. Like, when you think Mario, that's what it looks like. That's what it feels like. And it's got all the different versions, like look, style. It looks really, really good. And I'm hyped for it. Moving along, because I don't want to focus too much on Nintendo here, but Square Enix was the last one. Tomb Raider looks awesome. They're keeping up with the same old that they did from the last game, but with more. It's like the Rise of the Tomb Raider or something like that. It looks really good. I'm really impressed that they're sticking to their guns and sticking to Lara Croft as like this up-and-coming Tomb Raider. And it works. It really does. A lot of people are kind of iffy still on it, but I'm like, I liked it. I like the original. Like, I like the first one. I think the original ones are actually good games up until a certain point. But like, I mean, they're good. I think Tomb Raider is a good franchise. Deus Ex looks great. I'm hyped for Deus Ex because I loved the first one. The Mankind Divided looks really good. They showed off the Final Fantasy VII trailer again for their press conference. Nobody gave a shit. Well, they did, but like, Kingdom Hearts 3 looks better than ever. And they announced Star Ocean 4. I was really shocked about that. Star Ocean 4, like, coming out to America is a big deal because Star Ocean's that game where you're like, people play this and it's got such a big cult following. It's like a guaranteed, like, 500 units. Just sell, like, it's a special edition or something. Guaranteed, like, they have to pay $60 for it. But that's a game that, like, people really get behind. And I love Star Ocean. Like, it's one of my favorite series that never gets any love. I will say that Square Enix really held back a lot. There was a lot of, oh yeah, we're going to show more of this, but later. And that's kind of lame. Like, that was lame. Outside of that, though, the other big winner I thought was VR. I can do a whole video on why I think VR is a total fad. But that being said, lots and lots of support for it. Minecraft looked really cool with the HoloLens, but I think the HoloLens is going to be one of those things where I bought it for work, but I can Minecraft with it or play Doom on it. I don't know. I think that like a lot of the times that companies are like they're pushing this VR thing because they saw what happened when Nintendo did motion control, and they're really concerned about that. But I think that it reeks of Kinect 2.0. That being said, it does look really cool. There's a lot of good games, and I hope to be proven wrong on that one. That being said, those were, in my opinion, the winners of E3 this year. There are still some things going on at the time of me recording this. However, most of it's like PC and like third party. A lot of the third party stuff I'll probably cover on their own. And this E3 seemed to very like hush hush on some stuff. But overall, E3 kicked ass. There's not a lot of losers. So if you like this video, let me know. If you didn't, let me know as well. As always, if you could like, subscribe, let us know what we did wrong. Tell me in the comments if you actually totally disagree with something I said, or if you 100% agree. Anything to sort of cause some conversation there. Outside of that, once again, I'm Josh with Geeks For Hire. Take it easy, y'all.